You have heard the myth. To make big money in tech, you need to be a genius with a fancy computer science degree from a top university. That myth has made a lot of people give up before they even started. And it is mostly wrong. Because right now, there are self-taught programmers with no degree at all, earning more than doctors. There are engineers at big tech companies whose yearly pay, once you count the stock, crosses $1 million. Software engineering is not one job for geniuses. It is a ladder, and it is one of the steepest, highest-paying ladders that exists. A ladder that starts with a junior developer earning $70,000 and climbs to a level where a company will pay you like an executive just to keep you writing code. And here's the part that breaks people's brains. At the very top, the goal is not to become a manager. It is to become so good that they pay you a fortune to never stop building. Today, we break down every single level of a software engineer. The real skills, the real jump at each step, and the real money from junior coder to millionaire engineer. This is every level of a software engineer. Let's compile. The whole ladder runs on one strange, powerful idea. In most jobs, your pay is tied to your time. In software, your pay is tied to your leverage, to how much impact your code has. Here's why. A great engineer does not just work harder than an okay engineer. They can be worth 10 of them. Because code scales, one person can write something that 100 million people use. So companies are in a desperate war for the few people who can build things that big. And there is a second secret weapon that makes this ladder unlike any other: equity. At the top, they do not just pay you a salary, they give you a piece of the company itself, stock. So as the company grows, your slice grows with it while you sleep. That is the whole game. Get more skilled, get more leverage, and get a piece of what you build. Now let's start at the bottom, on day one, as a nervous junior. Level 1, the junior developer. This is the front door, and here is the good news. That door is wide open, degree or not. Plenty of engineers get here through a computer science degree, but plenty of others are completely self-taught or came from a short coding boot camp. The industry mostly cares about one thing. Can you actually build the thing? If yes, they will hire you. As a junior, you are handed small, well-defined tasks. Fix this bug, build this little feature, nothing too scary. And senior engineers review everything you do, catching your mistakes before they cause damage. You are basically getting paid to learn on the job, surrounded by people better than you. And even at the bottom, the pay is strong. A junior developer typically earns around $70,000 to $90,000 a year. At a big tech company, once you count the stock they hand you, it can be well over $100,000 on day one. That is a remarkable starting salary for a career you can enter without any debt. But juniors have a ceiling. You still need your hand held. You cannot yet be trusted with the big, messy problems. Cross that line and you become the engineer companies actually fight over. Level 2, the mid-level engineer. This is the moment you stop being someone the team has to babysit and become someone the team relies on. You can now take a real feature and build it on your own, start to finish, without your hand being held. You still ask for help on the truly hard stuff, but day to day you are trusted and independent. And the pay climbs to match. A mid-level engineer commonly earns around $100,000 to $130,000 a year. At the big companies, with stock included, that total number climbs much higher. This is where a lot of people finally exhale. The money is genuinely great and the work is interesting. But this is also where the ladder splits into the people who plateau and the people who launch. Because there is a huge gap between an engineer who can build what they are told and an engineer who can look at a giant, vague, terrifying problem and figure out how to solve it. That second kind of engineer is rare, and rare is exactly what gets paid. Level 3, the senior engineer. This is where the money gets serious. A senior engineer is trusted with the big, scary, important problems, the ones where there is no clear answer. They do not just write code. They decide how things should be built. They design the systems everyone else works inside. And crucially, they make the other engineers around them better. They lift the whole team. That kind of impact is worth a lot. A senior engineer commonly earns around $150,000 to $200,000 a year in salary. But here is where the big tech secret really kicks in: the stock. At a major tech company, a senior engineer's stock can be worth as much as their salary or even more. So their real total pay can quietly cross $300,000 a year and keep climbing as the stock grows. This is the level a huge number of engineers aim for and happily retire at, and you can see why. But there is a level above this that most people do not even know exists, and it pays like nothing else in the building. Level 4, the staff and principal engineer, the top of the technical ladder. Here is the myth we need to kill. Most people think the only way up from senior is to become a manager, to stop coding and start running people. And you can do that, but the highest paid engineers in the world took a different path. They just got so good, they broke the pay scale. A staff or principal engineer is an engineer whose ideas shape an entire product or even the whole company. They do not manage people, they manage problems, the biggest, most valuable problems the company has. One brilliant decision from them can be worth tens of millions of dollars to the business. So the company pays them like it. A staff or principal engineer at a big tech company can earn total pay of $400, $500, sometimes over $1 million a year, once you count the stock. Read that again. They pay a person that much to never stop being an engineer? Because at this level, you are not a worker they rent. You are a weapon they cannot afford to lose. This is the ceiling of pure engineering. But there is one more move off the ladder entirely that has made more tech fortunes than any salary. Because here's the thing about all those salaries, even the $1 million ones, they are still a job. And the truly life-changing money in tech has never come from a paycheck. It has come from ownership. This is the move that turns a rich engineer into a wealthy one. Some take everything they learned climbing the ladder and they leave to build their own thing, a startup. Now they are not an employee getting a slice of stock. They own the company. If it works, and most do not, the payoff dwarfs any salary. A successful startup can turn a founder into a multimillionaire or far more. And even the engineers who stay have a quieter version of this, their stock. The engineer who joined a small company early and was paid partly in stock can wake up years later to find that stock is worth a fortune. That is the real secret of tech wealth. The salary makes you comfortable. The ownership makes you rich. The best engineers always end up on the same side of the table, the side that owns a piece of what gets built. So here is the real lesson underneath all the code. Software is the clearest proof that in the modern world, skill plus leverage beats almost everything. At the bottom, you trade your hours for a paycheck, learning as you go. In the middle, you build enough skill that your work has real leverage, and the pay climbs fast. And at the top, you either become so rare they pay you like an executive to keep building, or you own a piece of what you build and let it make you money while you sleep. No degree required, no permission needed, just skill stacked high enough that the world cannot ignore it. The millionaire engineer was not born a genius. They just kept climbing after the money already got comfortable. If you want to see every level of another job and exactly what it really pays, subscribe. We break down every level of every career and every dollar, drawn simply. Now go build something. I will see you in the next one.